Hello, everyone. Finally, I'm able to go live. Facebook put me on timeout, as well as Instagram. So my name is Denise. I'm a freedom activist in the state of California, and I'm one of the co-founders of an organization named Freedom Angels. And we attended Gavin Newsom's hearing yesterday. So I'm going to jump on to tell you about that, and also just to talk to you about the environment that we're in California. So Gavin Newsom had a hearing yesterday. It was heard by Judge Sarah Heckman, and this hearing was really to put a stop to the emergency powers of Gavin Newsom. The argument is that we are in a state of emergency and he is the king of all kings, so he is able to do these unrestricted policies without actually going through the process of the legislature. So there was supposed to be, well, we were hoping for a judgment yesterday, but if we don't hear anything back by Monday, there is going to be a trial set for October 21st in Yuba City. The address is 1175 Civic Center Boulevard. This is such an important hearing. We're seeing that in Michigan, the judge has ruled that the governor there has abused the powers, and we really need the judge to come back and say the same for Gavin Newsom. He has changed so many laws without going through the proper process. He's acting as a dictator. He's changing our environment to fit his agenda. Now, we've been fighting against Gavin Newsom. Freedom Angels has been pushing back on his policies, and it seems like every time we get a little bit of a head start, he comes back with some bullshit policies that he wants to enact. Now, this is where it gets very, very interesting. Now, I'm just gonna say this. On our Freedom Angels page, we're on Facebook. We put up a post about the environment that we're in regarding schools and forced vaccines. In many, many different states, we are seeing that the public health officer is now making decisions to require flu shots in order for the children to go back to school. And we had a little bit of pushback from some activists saying that our post was misleading and it wasn't correct because schools can't put vaccines on the schedule. Now, there was nothing misleading about our post. There was nothing incorrect about our post. This is the environment we're in now. Schools cannot put a vaccine on the schedule. However, ACIP, which is Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices, has already approved the flu shot and HPV to get put on the childhood schedule. It's only a matter of time for the CDC to adopt it and then for schools to adopt it. But if you think for 1 minute that these schools are going to follow the laws that are in place, you have another thing coming. You are so disconnected from the environment that we are in right now. This COVID issue has changed everything, has changed the political arena. It has changed the arena of how these schools and how public health actually deals with illnesses. So I don't want you, don't think for 1 minute schools aren't going to try to coerce you and bully you. Pasadena, California already sent letters out telling parents that their children will be required to get a flu shot. Now, I know many, many people who vaccinate, but not for the flu shot. And this is where the Health Freedom has been fighting for years to give you the choice to decide if this is something that you want to participate in. Because never in the United States should there ever be mandates for anything. Schools will absolutely mislead parents into thinking that they have no options. So for those naysayers that said that we were misguiding people, we are very much on target. We know that the schools are going to start pushing their agenda. They already are. Schools have already become politicized. We already know what's going to happen. And what we are trying to give you as parents are the tools that are available to you to fight back. Now in Pasadena, California, the parents are fighting back against the school districts and against public health. But what a lot of parents don't know is that during SB 277, many activists fought tooth and nail to get amendments that were going to help parents in California. One of those activists was Tara, one of the co-founders of Freedom Angels. And in SB 277, the language of it, if you pull it up online, you'll see, I think it's like the second paragraph, it'll tell you. The bill is very tricky. It's not going to tell you in the amendments section. It's going to tell you in the second paragraph. It is section 3 and section 120338. This is called number 11. What this does, after 2015, any additional vaccines that are put on the schedule, parents have the ability to file a personal belief exemption. That would be for the flu shot, for HPV, and for the COVID. I am not a fan of exemptions. I actually very much hate exemptions because all exemptions do is put you on a database. And in California, we really got screwed here because now our doctors are on a database and no doctors in California will write a medical exemption. We have no functional exemptions left except for that PBE for any additional vaccines. Parents need to know that this is a tool that you can use to push back against your school. But what Freedom Angels, what our campaign is a targeted campaign against public health. We've already had a national protest against public health where we drew up a list of demands and then we had a packet of successful counties like Atwater, Placerville, and Orange County, their white papers. Those were delivered to public health stating that, we need to have a public town hall. It's really, this is our demands that defunding of testing and tracing needs to happen. I know that sounds wild, but it's really not that crazy. We asked for funding of healthy communities. We asked for a panel, a bioethical panel of what this vaccine really is, because this vaccine is very, very different than any other vaccine that's been on the schedule. It's created differently. It's the technology is different, and we really need to have full informed consent. Even though none of the vaccines have ever had any kind of placebo testing or informed consent, this COVID vaccine is untested. It has no long-term studies, as well as no liability. Now, many people know, or maybe don't know, that any vaccine on the CDC schedule for children have no liability already. Some adult vaccines you can sue, but there's a table for that, and you can find that at the special claims court, and you can find it online on what vaccines are on the table that you can sue, but this vaccine will be exempt. Public Health and Wall Street Journal has quoted me on this, and I want them to quote me again. Public health is public enemy number 1. It may seem like it may be the school district, or it may be the school board, or it may be your governor, or it may be ABC or the licensing agencies. What it is, public health is the hub of the wheel. They are the ones who are making decisions for the mask mandates. They are the ones in collusion with ABC, the licensing board, with the governor, with the legislatures. They are the hub of the wheel. And that is where the pressure needs to be. They are not used to having the light on them. They are not used to having that kind of pressure on them. And it is imperative that we continue to put the pressure and let them know, no, we need a public town hall. This is unacceptable for you guys to be making these decisions without any input from the residents here in the county. Now, I know a lot of times people are feeling really, really comfortable. They feel they can go to restaurants, they can go shopping, they can, some of their kids are going back to school. They feel like they're a little bit free. This was all set up on purpose. This was a very masterful plan to make you feel free to where you don't resist. But we still have elders that are locked away for 7 months without having any family interaction, and they are suffering and they are dying. This is genocide to our elders, and they deserve a whole lot better than what we're providing them right now. The psychological warfare on our children is, it's painful. These kids, these little babies feel like they have to wear this mask all the time. They don't know any different. They feel they're going to die if they don't have it. Even though time and time again, the science has said that these masks do not work for this virus. This virus is too small. If they were in fact concerned about our health, then they would be telling us that you need a fitted N95 mask, and where are all the biohazard bins to throw away your mask instead of reusing them or hanging them on your car rearview window. What these masks are, they're really a soft grooming for what's to come, and that is the digital certificate. Don't think that's a conspiracy theory. That's actually something that's rolling out as we speak. It came out publicly that the airlines are now, they're working with Common Pass, which is an agency that's going to establish a standard certification for COVID-19 and eventually proof of passengers having to be vaccinated. Now, if you think that this digital certificate is going to stop with the COVID vaccine, you are dead wrong. I would encourage you to start looking at your health freedom groups to see what we've been talking about for the past 5 years. This is just the beginning of that vaccine. We're going to have, there's a multitude of vaccines that are on the schedule. And if you're not up to date, your digital certificate isn't going to be up to date, which means you will not be able to travel. You won't be able to participate in society. You won't be able to go to work or go to school. This is not a conspiracy theory, but it is a conspiracy against these tyrants, from these tyrants against the people. We are going to have something called, so we have the digital certificate and then the digital money. This is all going to be interconnected. Your digital money will be connected to your digital certificate. So if you can't prove that you've been up to date, that digital money is going to be halted and you will not be able to participate in society. Go shopping, travel, cross the borders. If you want to leave your state, guess what? Now we have checkpoints happening. This is the agenda that has been rolling out, and it started in California. It started with SB 277. That's where we saw that there was a very dangerous precedent that was being set. And a lot of people were saying, kids need to get those vaccines so they don't die of preventable diseases. Well, while we were telling you, these vaccine mandates are not going to be just for children. They will be for adults. And the next round of adult mandates are coming for adults that work in healthcare. I'm on a group of medical professionals who are fighting against the flu vaccine. Now, it's very interesting to see the threads because they're talking about the same things that we've been talking about, but they still call us anti-vaxxers. Anti-vaxxers are simply parents who vaccinated their children, who saw a reaction in their children and then halted and said, this isn't right. I do not want to be forced into this. I don't want to be coerced into this. And that's what's happening because hospitals, medical professionals, schools, they all call CPS on parents who decide to opt out of the vaccine program. And now it's rolling out to adults. I would encourage you to look at ACIP, which is the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. I've testified at it a couple of times. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. It is the agency that decides what vaccines are going to be put on the schedule, and then CDC adopts it. After the CDC adopts it, then the schools adopt it, and as well as like hospitals and any place that has a medical professional there. What people failed to realize is that we were just about choice. We just wanted the choice to opt out or opt in. And now you are seeing the wrath of SB 277 and SB 276 coming full throttle on you guys. I would encourage, if you are a medical professional, there is a department within HHS that Trump created a couple years ago called the Conscience and Religious Department. It is a department where you can file a complaint if your employer is forcing you into procedures that go against your religious beliefs. Now, I know a lot of Catholics and a lot of Christians, Jewish, a lot of religions that do not participate in utilizing animal or human DNA. and the flu shot was cultivated in Cocker Spaniel dog kidney. So this is a tool that you can use, and you can file a complaint. So if you are in a group of healthcare professionals, I would recommend that you guys create a campaign to file a complaint against your entity. With enough complaints, that entity will be investigated, and if they find that they have went against your rights, then the funding will stop to that entity. So that's another tool that you can use against mandates and against employers who are saying you have to get the flu shot because you're next in line to get the COVID vaccine. You're the first in line, actually. ACIP has also approved the anthrax vaccine to be given to first responders should there be an emergency. So what's happening is really the agenda that's being played out, and they've used anti-vaxxer as a way to discredit our information when the information that we're giving you is 100% backed up, and you can look at any of that if you pull up an insert, which you can find at the FDA, and really do your due diligence to find out what is in those vaccines and what your rights are. You know, like, let me go back to the schools forcing parents or coercing parents into thinking that they have to get these vaccines. In Idaho, which is a red state, they are going to unleash their pilot program to vaccinate children at school. And it's going to be with the COVID vaccine. What a lot of parents aren't aware of is that most all school districts, and you're going to have to call your school district, but most all school districts have a vaccine clinic that it's a van that comes to your school and vaccinates your children. Now, a lot of parents think that if you sign that I do not consent and you send your kids to school, that they're not going to vaccinate you. However, there is federal verbiage from, verbiage from the World Health Organization that says your child being at the school means consent. That means even if you sign the form saying, no, you do not consent, sending your child to school is implied consent, and they will vaccinate even if you say no. Those vaccines have no liability. The schools have no liability. The medical professionals have no liability. So you're sending your child to school thinking that they're going to be safe when they're going to be plucked out of line and vaccinated. That is not something that is far-fetched. That happened last year across California. You would actually be really, you would be shocked to see what actually happened with the vaccine, the anti-vaccine community, which is really more the health freedom community. The way we were gaslighted, the way that reporters got our children's information and our doctors' information and published it, like in the LA Times, it was the epitome of gaslighting and scaring doctors into no longer writing exemptions. During SB 277 in 2015, there was also a bill, SB 792, that passed that mandated school employees, daycare employees, be vaccinated as well. And nobody really wanted to touch that bill. I saw that there was some testimony on it, but it flew with flying colors across California legislators, and nobody gave it second thought. So here we are in 2020, where we have an untested vaccine that's going to be unleashed by 2021. You school employees, medical professionals, first responders, you were all first in line to get this vaccine. So I suggest you guys start working together and file those complaints. Freedom Angels we are organizing protests across the states against public health. And if you want to participate, please send us an email. You can visit our website at freedom-angels.org, and we will respond with, what you can do to get involved. You can also send us a text at 209-400-2667 to get on our Telegram thread in case social media takes us down. So it's absolutely insane, the environment that we're in California. And I would really suggest every other state look to see what's happening here, because how California goes, so goes the entire nation. We are in distress. Our country's in distress, and we really need people to start standing up. We've asked people to get involved, and it's really, really hard to get people to show up. The first couple of months that we had protests, we had 15,000 people at our protests, and they were pissed, right? You want to go back to work. But now it's died down because people are getting comfortable. But just know it's not going to stop. It's actually going to get a lot worse. The fight has just started. That was the soft grooming. That was to see how far they can take it. And now that they see that people are complying with these masks, it feels like an uphill battle. So we need everybody to start getting involved. I know that it's hard, but we're asking you for an hour a day or an hour out of your day to go to public health and say no. Email your public health officer, email your board of supervisors, your sheriff, your district attorney, all of your city council, their legal counsel. Everybody that is involved in making these decisions must be held accountable. There is no reason why we shouldn't have hundreds of people at a public health protest for an hour to say, no, we are not going to do this anymore. And I really, really hope that people stop wearing masks. Even if it's a lace mask or if it's a bullshit mask that doesn't work, you're still complying. You're still saying, yes, I'm going to wear it just to get through here, or I'm going to do it just so I can get through there. It's a lifestyle change. It's a resistance. I have never worn a mask. I will not shop in a place that harasses me, but you will be surprised how easy it is to go into a store. No, thank you. It does not need to be confrontational. You don't need to get into this wicked fight. No, thank you, and move on. It's really freeing to be able to break the chains of oppression, because it is oppression. We are being forced to cover our face, healthy people being forced to quarantine. That's just not how the United States needs to roll out. And in order to stop this, we need to start getting people together and go in group shopping trips, maskless. Freedom Angels has calls to action. We have a Telegram channel where we have calls to action this is what's planned out. We have flyers, we have the paperwork, we have white papers, we have listed demands. Everything's already done for you. You just have to send it. You have to participate and stop complying with these masks. It is the tool that they're using to put forward the vaccine program, the digital certificate. All of the agenda that they're trying to roll out starts with this mask. So, just stop wearing it. Stop wearing it and know your rights, assert your rights, articulate your rights. And, if a store really wants to push back, then just don't shop there anymore. That's something that my family has done, and we will continue to resist. So again, if you want to participate, I'm begging you guys to participate at this point. I'm begging you to participate in the public health protest. This is where we need to have education on the vaccine program and demand that public health start having a public town hall to say, we need some answers. We need to know how much money is being allocated from CARES to testing and tracing. We will not be tracked like cattle. We will not be tested with an unreliable test that is faulty, that is what wasn't even made to test this illness. The metrics that they are telling us we need to pass in order to participate in society is not feasible. It's illogical. So, again, we are organizing county by county. Right now, we have multiple states and multiple counties. You can, again, send us an email, or you can get on our Telegram channel, and I'll put the link up here, or you can text us. And texting is easier, so I can send you the link and all as well, and you'll be able to do it. So text 209-400-2667 with your name, your county, and your state. I will send you the link to our channel where we will send out the information on the calls to action, as well as the flyers. So if you want to make a flyer, we have all the tools available for you. So that is it. We will not comply, and I'm sorry, but Governor Newsom needs to be arrested for treason. And we would love to sign that paperwork. So if we have the right elected sheriff to arrest him, we will absolutely take control of that. So thank you again for listening. Please, please, please show up in Yuba City on October 21st at 8:30 a.m. for Gavin Newsom's trial to suspend his emergency powers. This will be the epitome of, you know, this would be amazing if we can get this to stop. So, yes, so the address again, 1175 Civic Center Boulevard, Yuba City. Please show up. Freedom Angels will have a protest party, and there's about 50 people who were able to get inside the courthouse, so I suggest you get there early. And I will see you later. And please, again, visit our website at freedom-angels.org. Thanks. Have a good day.